Revelations 4:11. For worthy are you, O Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they existed and were created.
Now King David was an old man, advanced in days, and they put clothes around him, and he was not warmed. His servants said to him, Let them seek for our master the king a young virgin. She shall stand beside the king, and will be warming him. She shall recline in his bosom, and our master the king shall be heated. They sought a goodly young woman from every border of Israel, and they found Abishag the Shunammite, and they brought her to the king. The young woman was goodly to the sight, exceedingly, and was warming the king. She ministered to him, and the king did not know her. Adonijah, son of Haggith, lifted up, saying, I shall reign. And he appointed to himself chariots and horsemen, and 50 men running in front of him. His father did not make a reproach to him at any time, saying, Why is it that you have done this? He was good in appearance exceedingly, and he was born after Absalom. His communications were with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they helped following after Adonijah, Zadok the priest, and Benaiah son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei and Rai. And the ones being mighty to David were not with Adonijah. Adonijah sacrificed sheep and calves and lambs by the stone Zohelah, the one being next to the spring of En-Rogel. And he called all his brethren of the sons of the king, and all the men of Judah, the servants of the king. But Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah, and the mighty ones, and Solomon his brother, he did not call. Nathan said to Bathsheba, mother of Solomon, saying, Did you not hear that Adonijah, son of Haggith, reigns, and our master David does not know? Now come, I will advise you with advice, so that you should preserve your life and the life of Solomon your son. Come, enter unto King David, and you shall say to him, Have you not, O my master, O king, sworn by an oath to your maidservant, saying that Solomon your son, he shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? Why is it that Adonijah reigns? Behold, while you were speaking there with the king, that I shall enter after you, and I will fulfill your words. Bathsheba entered to the king in the inner chambers, and the king was an old man exceedingly. Abishag the Shunammite was ministering to the king, and Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance to the king. And the king said, What is it to you? She said, O my master, O king, you swore by an oath to the Lord your God to your maidservant, saying that Solomon your son, he shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. Now behold, Adonijah reigns, and you, O my master, O king, do not know. He sacrificed calves and lambs and sheep in multitude. He called all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the ruler of the force, and Solomon your servant he did not call. You, O my master, O king, the eyes of all Israel are towards you to report to them who shall sit upon the throne of my master, the king after him. And it will be in the sleeping of my master the king with his fathers, that I will be myself and Solomon your son as sinners. Behold, while she spoke with the king, Nathan the prophet entered. It was announced to the king, saying, Behold, Nathan the prophet. He entered in front of the king, did obeisance to the king upon his face upon the ground. And Nathan said, O my master, O king, have you said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For he went down today, sacrificed calves and lambs and sheep in multitude, and called all the sons of the king and the rulers of the force, and Abiathar the priest. And behold, they are eating and drinking before him. And they said, Let King Adonijah live. Me your servant, and Zadok the priest, Benaniah son of Jehoiada, and Solomon your servant he did not call. If this thing has taken place through my master the king, then you did not make known to your servant who shall sit upon the throne of my master the king after him. King David answered, he said, Call to me Bathsheba. And she entered before the king, and stood before him. The king swore by an oath, and said, As the Lord lives, who ransomed my soul from out of all affliction, I swore by an oath to you, according to the Lord God of Israel, saying that Solomon your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne instead of me, that thus I will do this day. Bathsheba bowed upon her face upon the earth, and did obeisance to the king, said, Let my master, King David, live into the eon. King David said, Call to me Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaniah son of Jehoiada. And they entered before the king. The king said to them, Take with you the servants of your master, set Solomon my son upon my mule, lead him unto Gihon, and let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there for king over Israel. Trump the horn, and you shall say, Let King Solomon live. You shall ascend after him. He shall enter, and he shall sit upon my throne. He shall reign instead of me, and to him I give charge to be for leader over Israel and over Judah. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, responded to the king and said, May it be so. May the Lord God of my master, the king, confirm it. As the Lord was with my master, the king, so may it be with Solomon, and to magnify his throne above the throne of my master King David. Zadok the priest went down, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and the Sherethite and the Pelethites. They sat Solomon upon the mule of King David, and they took him to Gihon. Zadok the priest took the horn of the oil from out of the tent, and anointed Solomon, and trumped the horn. And all the people said, Let King Solomon live. All the people ascended after him, and all the people joined in a dance by companies of dancers, and making glad in great gladness. And the earth tore with the sound of them. Adonijah heard, and all the ones invited with him. They completed eating, and Joab heard the sound of the horn, and said, What is the sound of the city sounding? While he was speaking that, behold, Jonathan son of Abiathar the priest came in, and Adonijah said, Enter, for you are a man of power, and for good you announce the good news. Jonathan answered and said, Adonijah, by all means our master King David established Solomon to reign. The king sent with him Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethite and the Pelethite, and they sat him upon the throne of the king. Zadok the priest anointed him, and Nathan the prophet as king at Gihon. They ascended from there making glad, and the city sounded their sound which you heard. And Solomon seated upon the throne of the king. Also the servants of the king came to bless our master King David, saying, God make good the name of your son Solomon above your name. Magnify his throne above your throne. And the king did obeisance upon his bed. Indeed, thus the king said, Blessed is the Lord God of Israel, who gave today from out of my seed one sitting upon my throne, and my eyes see it. Now all the ones called by Adonijah were startled, rose up, and each departed unto his way. Adonijah feared from the face of Solomon, and he rose up and went forth. He took hold of the horns of the altar, and it was announced to Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah fears King Solomon, and he takes hold of the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear by an oath to me today, to not put to death his servant by the broadsword. Solomon said, If he should be a son of power, in no way should there fall from his head a hair upon the ground, but if evil should be found in him, he shall be put to death. King Solomon sent, and behold, brought him from on top of the altar. And he entered and did obeisance to King Solomon. And Solomon said to him, Go unto your house. There approached the days for David himself to die. He gave charge to his son to Solomon, saying, I am going in the way of all the earth. You shall be strong, you shall be a man, for you shall guard the watch of the Lord your God. You go in his ways to guard his commandments, and the ordinances, and the judgments, and his testimonies, as written in the law of Moses, that you should perceive all what you shall do, and everywhere of whichever you should have paid attention there, so that the Lord should establish his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, If your sons should guard their way, to go before me in truth with their whole heart, and with their whole soul, saying, There shall not be lifted away to you a man from the throne of Israel. Now you know what Joab son of Zeruiah did to me, and what he did to the two rulers of the forces of Israel, Abner son of Ner, and Amasa son of Jether. He killed them, and ordered up the blood of war for peace, put innocent blood on his belt, the one on his loin, and on his sandal, the one on his foot. You shall do according to your wisdom, and you shall not lead down his gray hair in peace into Hades. To the sons of Barzillai the Gileadite you shall have mercy, and they shall be at the eating of your table. For so they drew near to me in my fleeing from the face of your brother of Absalom. Behold, there is with you Shimei, son of Gera, son of the Benjamite, from Bahurim. He cursed me a grievous curse in the day in which I went into camps. He went down for meeting me at the Jordan. I swore by an oath to him by the Lord, saying, I shall not put you to death by the broadsword. You shall in no way acquit him, for you are a wise man, and you shall know what to do with him. You shall lead down his gray hair with blood into Hades. David slept with his fathers, and he was entombed in the city of David. The days which David reigned over Israel were 40 years. In Hebron he reigned 7 years, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years. Solomon sat upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was prepared exceedingly. Adonijah son of Haggith entered to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, did obeisance to her, and she said, Are you entering in peace? He said, Peace. He said, My words to you. And she said, Speak. He said to her, You know that to me was the kingdom, and upon all Israel set their face for king. And the kingdom was turned, and came to my brother, for by the Lord it was to him. Now I ask one request from you, You should not turn away your face. Bathsheba said to him, Well, speak. He said to her, Speak indeed to Solomon the king, for he will not turn away your face, so that he should give to me Abishag the Shunammite for wife. Bathsheba said, Well, I will speak for you to the king. Bathsheba entered to King Solomon to speak to him concerning Adonijah. The king rose up to meet her. He did obeisance to her, and he sat upon his throne. The throne was set for the mother of the king, and she sat on his right. She said to him, I ask one small request from you. You should not turn away my face. The king said to her, Ask my mother, for I will not turn from you. And she said, Let there be given indeed Abishag the Shunammite to Adonijah your brother for a wife. And King Solomon answered and said to his mother, Why are you asking Abishag for Adonijah? Then ask for him the kingdom, for this one is my older brother over me. And with him are Abiathar the priest, and with him Joab son of Zeruiah, commander-in-chief, his companion. King Solomon swore by an oath according to the Lord, saying, Thus may God do to me, and thus may he add it to, for Adonijah spoke this word against his own life. And now as the Lord lives, who prepared me, and put me upon the throne of David my father, and he made to me a house as the Lord said, that Adonijah shall be put to death. King Solomon sent out by the hand of Benaiah son of Jehoiada, and he did away with him, and he died. To Abiathar priest the king said, Run unto Anathoth to your field, for you are a man marked for death. And from this day I will not put you to death, for you lifted the ark of the covenant of the Lord before David my father, because you were mistreated in all ways which my father was mistreated. Solomon cast out Abiathar, so that he would not be for priest to the Lord, to fulfill the saying of the Lord, which he said concerning the house of Eli in Shiloh. And the report came unto Joab son of Zeruiah, for Joab was leading after Adonijah, but he did not turn aside after Solomon. Joab fled to the tent of the Lord, and held the horns of the altar. It was reported to Solomon, saying that Joab has fled into the tent of the Lord, and behold, he holds the horns of the altar. Solomon sent Benaiah son of Jehoiada, saying, Go and do away with him. Benaiah came to Joab in the tent of the Lord, and he said to him, Thus says the king, Come forth. Joab said, I do not go forth, for here I shall die. And Benaiah returned, said to the king, saying, Thus Joab has spoken, and thus he answered me. The king said to him, Go and do to him as he has said. Do away with him. You shall bury him, and lift away today the blood which Joab poured out freely from me, from the house of my father. And the Lord returned the blood of his iniquity onto his head, inasmuch as he met the two just and good men above him, and killed them by the broadsword. My father David did not know about Abner son of Ner, commander-in-chief of Israel, and Amasa of Jether, commander-in-chief of Judah. Let their blood return upon his head, and upon the head of his seed unto the aeon. To David, and to his seed, and to his house, to his throne may there be peace by the Lord unto the aeon. And Benaiah son of Jehoiada ascended, and met him, and killed him. They entombed him in his house in the wilderness. And the king appointed Benaiah son of Jehoiada instead of him over the military. And the king appointed Zadok the priest, for as much priest instead of Abiathar. Sending, the king called Shimei, and said to him, Build for yourself a house in Jerusalem, and settle there. Do not go forth from there, not at all. And it will be in the day that you exit, and pass over the rushing stream Kidron, and know that to death you shall die. Your blood will be upon your head. Shimei said to the king, The thing is good which you have spoken, O my master. O king, thus shall your servant do. Shimei settled in Jerusalem 3 years, and it came to pass after 3 years that 2 servants of Shimei ran away to Achish son of Maacah, king of Gath. They reported to Shimei, saying, Behold, your servants are in Gath. Shimei rose up, saddled his donkey, went unto Gath, to Achish, to seek after his servants. Shimei went and led his servants from Gath. It was reported to Solomon, saying that Shimei went from out of Jerusalem unto Gath, and he returned. The king called Shimei, and he said to him, Have I not bound you by an oath according to the Lord? And I attested to you, saying, In whichever day you should go forth from out of Jerusalem, you should go to the right or to the left, in know that to death you shall die. And you said to me, The word which you heard was good. So why have you not guarded the oath of the Lord, and the commandment which I gave charge to you? The king said to Shimei, You know all the evil which your heart knows, which you did to David my father, and the Lord recompensed your evil on your head. King Solomon is blessed, and the throne of David will be prepared before the Lord into the eon. And King Solomon gave charge to Benaiah son of Jehoiada. He came forth, and did away with him, and he died. And the kingdom solidified into the hand of Solomon. Solomon contracted a marriage with Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He took the daughter of Pharaoh, and he brought her into the city of David, until he completed building his house, the house of the Lord at first, and the wall of Jerusalem round about, except the people were burning incense upon the high places, for a house was not built to the name of the Lord until now. Solomon loved the Lord, to go in the orders of David his father, only he sacrificed and burned incense in the high place. And he rose up and went into Gibeon to sacrifice there, for it was highest and great. Solomon offered 1,000 whole burnt offerings upon the altar in Gibeon. And the Lord appeared to Solomon in sleep at night. The Lord said to Solomon, "Ask any request for yourself." And Solomon said, "You did great mercy with your servant David my father, as he went before you in truth, and in righteousness, and in straightness of heart with you. You guarded him by this great mercy, to grant to him a son sitting upon his throne as this day. Now, O Lord my God, you gave rain to your servant in place of David my father. I am a small boy, and I do not know my entering and my exiting. Your servant is in the midst of your people whom you choose, a populous people who cannot be counted. You shall give to your servant a heart to hear and to litigate your people in righteousness, to perceive between good and bad. For who shall be able to judge this weighty thing for your people?" The word was pleasing before the Lord that Solomon asked this thing. And the Lord said to him, "Because you asked this thing from me, and you did not ask many days for yourself, and you did not ask for riches, nor asked for the lives of your enemies, but you asked for yourself understanding to hear judgment. Behold, I have done according to your word. Behold, I give to you an intelligent and wise heart. There has not been one as you before you, and after you there shall not rise up one like unto you. Indeed, what you have not asked I have given to you, even riches and glory, as there is not a man like unto you among the kings. And if you should have gone in my way, to guard my commandments and my orders, as David your father went, then I will prolong your days." Solomon woke up and knew the dream. He rose up, came unto Jerusalem, and he stood in front of the altar, of the one in front of the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And he led up whole burnt offerings, and made peace offerings, and made a banquet to all his servants. Then there appeared 2 women, harlots unto the king, and they stood before him. The one woman said, "Hear me, O my master, I and this woman live in one house, and we gave birth in the house. It came to pass in the 3rd day of my giving birth, this woman also gave birth. We were in the same place, and there was no one with us, only both of us in the house. The son of this woman died in the night, as she rested upon it. She rose up in the middle of the night, and she took my son from my embrace. Your maidservant rested, and she rested it in her bosom. And the son having died, she rested in my bosom. I rose up in the morning to nurse my son, and that one was the one having died. Behold, I contemplated him in the morning, and behold, he was not my son whom I gave birth. The other woman said, Not so, for my son is the one living. Your son is the one having died. She said, Not so, for your son is the one having died, and my son is the one living. And they spoke before the king. Now the king said to them, You here say, This my son is the one living, and this one son is the one having died. And you say there, Not so, but my son is the one living, and this one son is the one having died. The king said, Take for me a sword. They brought the sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child into 2. Give the one half of him to this one, and the other half of him to the other one. And the woman answered, Of whom was the mother of the living son? She said to the king, For her womb was disturbed over her son. She said, Hear me, O master. Give to her the child, and to death let it not be put to death. She, the other, said, Neither to me nor to her let it be, but divide it. The king responded, said, Give the living child to the one having said, Give it to her, and unto death you shall not put it to death. She is his mother. Now all Israel heard this ordinance which the king passed judgment, and they feared from the presence of the king, for they knew that intellect of God was in him to do justice. And King Solomon was reigning over Israel. These are the rulers, the ones who were with him: Azariah son of Zadok the priest, Elihoreph and Ahiah son of Shisha were scribes. Jehoshaphat son of Ahilud was recorder. Benaniah son of Jehoiada was over the force. Zadok and Abiathar were priests. Azariah son of Nathan was over the ones being placed in charge, and Zabud son of Nathan was companion over the king. Ahishur was manager, and Adoniram son of Adbah was over the tribute. To Solomon were 12 being placed over all Israel to conduct matters for the king and to his house. A month in the year it happened for one to conduct matters, and these are their names: Ben-Hur in Mount Ephraim, the son of Dekar in Makaz, and Shaalbam in Beth-Shemesh, Alon unto Beth-Hanan, the son of Heseb, and Aruboth of him was Sukkok, and all the land of Hepher. All Nephadar belonged to the sons of Abinadab. Taphath, daughter of Solomon, was to him for wife. Baana, son of Ahilud, to whom was Taanach and Megiddo, all the house of Shean, the one by Zartana below Jezreel, from Beth Shean unto Abel Mahola, unto Maaber, Jokneam, the son of Geber, and Ramoth Gilead. Of this one were cities of Jair, son of Manasseh in Gilead. To this one was a piece of measured out land, Argob and Bashan, 60 cities, great and walled, and bars of brass. Ahinadab, son of Edo, had Mahanaim. Ahimaaz was in Naphtali, and he took Basemath, daughter of Solomon, for a wife. Baana, son of Hushai, was in Asher and in Aloth. Jehoshaphat, son of Pariah, was in Issachar. Shammai, son of Elah, was in Benjamin. Geber, son of Ur, was in the land of Gilead of Sihon, of the king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan. And Neseb in the land of Judah was one. Judah and Israel were exceedingly many, as the sand upon the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and rejoicing. Now Solomon was ruler in all the kingdoms, from the river of the land of the Philistines unto the border of Egypt. They were bringing gifts, and they served Solomon all the days of his life. These were the necessary things for Solomon. In one day were 30 cores of fine flour, and 60 cores of flour, 10 choice calves, and 20 grazing oxen, 100 sheep, and outside of stags and does, and chosen and feeding hens. For he was ruler in all the other side of the river, from Tiphsah unto Azah, and the kingdoms on the other side of the river. And there was to him peace from all the parts round about. Judah and Israel dwelt, being yielded each into his grapevine, and under his fig tree, from Dan unto Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. There were to Solomon 40,000 horses for chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And the ones being placed in charge conducted thus to King Solomon, and all the declarations upon the table of the king, each one in charge of his month. They did not alter a word. The barley and the straw for the horses, and the chariots they took unto the place of whichever the king might be, each according to his arrangement. And the Lord gave intellect to Solomon, and exceedingly great wisdom, and a heart and increase as the land sand by the sea. Solomon multiplied exceedingly over the intellect of all the ancient men, and above all the intelligent ones of Egypt. He discerned above all men, and he discerned above Ethan, the Ezrahite, and Heman, Shalcol, and Darda, sons of Mahal, and his name became famous among all the nations round about. He spoke 3,000 parables, and his odes were 5,000. He spoke concerning the timbers from the cedars in Lebanon, and unto the hyssop coming forth from the wall. He spoke concerning the cattle, and concerning the winged creatures, concerning the reptiles, and concerning the fishes. All the peoples came to him to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and he took gifts from all the kings of the earth, as many as heard his wisdom.
As the dew in harvest, and as rain in summer, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As birds and sparrows spread out to fly, so a vain oath shall not come unto one thing. As a whip to a horse, and a spur to a donkey, so a rod to a law-breaking nation. Do not give an answer to a fool according to that one's folly, lest she should become like unto him. Answer a fool to the folly of that one, lest he should appear wise of himself. The one sending a word through a foolish messenger shall cause scorn by his own ways. Remove the goings of legs, and proverbs from out of the mouth of fools, and the one who binds up a stone in the sling is likened to the one giving a fool glory. Thorn bushes germinate in the hand of the intoxicated, and servitude in the hand of fools. All the flesh of fools is tossed much by a storm, for their ecstasy is destroyed. As a dog whenever it comes upon its own vomit, and becomes detested, so a fool returning to his own evil unto his own sin. I beheld a man seeming to be wise of himself. However, a fool had more hope rather than he. The lazy one says when being sent into the way, a lion is in the ways, and in the squares are murderers. As the door turns upon the hinge, so the lazy one upon his bed. The lazy one hiding the hand in his bosom shall not be able to bring it unto the mouth. The lazy one appears wiser to himself in fulfilling transmitting a message, as the one holding the tail of a dog, and so the one setting himself over a stranger's case, as the one needing healing, propounds words unto men, and the first one meeting the word shall be tripped up. Thus are all ones lying in wait for their own friends, and whenever they should be caught in the act, they say that in playing I acted. With much wood fire flourishes, but where there is not man at variance with others, a fight is stilled. A grate for coals, and woods for a fire, a reviling man for the disturbance to a fight. Words of mischievousness men are soft, but these men beat into the inner chambers of the intestines. Silver given with treachery is as a potsherd esteemed. Smooth lips covered a distressed heart. An enemy weeping assents to all things with his lips, but in the heart he contrives treachery. If the enemy should beseech you with a great voice, do not yield to him, For there are several wickednesses in his heart. The one hiding hatred stands together with treachery, and he conceals the things of his own well-known sins in the Sanhedrin. The one digging a pit for his neighbor shall fall into it, and the one rolling a stone rolls it upon himself. A lying tongue detests truth, and an open-mouthed mouth makes commotions. Ephesians 4:17-19. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God, through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling, having given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. Complaints about the decline or morals and characters in society and the world are ancient. This one sounds like it could easily be from today's headlines. Our earth is degenerate in these later days. There are signs that the world is speedily coming to an end. Bribery and corruption are common. Children no longer obey their parents. Every man wants to write a book, and at the end of the world it inevitably approaches. Yet rather than being new, that complaint was found on a clay tablet in Assyria that dates back to dates before Assyria became one of the strongest empires of the ancient world, thousands of years ago. The warning that God gives us in His Word regarding the state of a lost culture are there for a reason. In addition to the warnings, there is also instructions. We do not have to allow our behavior and attitudes to be dictated to the world around us. This sin does not force us to sin in turn. Paul told Timothy, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them." We should not expect the world to live like Christians. They do not have the power of the Holy Spirit to overcome temptations and stand firm against evil. The Bible describes them as being blind. We also should not allow ourselves to follow their example. If we allow the world to influence our thoughts and actions, it will not be long before the behaviors we once rightly condemned become acceptable to us. We must not allow the actions and attitudes of the world around us to wield influence over our lives.
Relax and let me lead you through this day. I have everything under control, my control. You tend to peer anxiously into the day that is before you, trying to figure out what to do and when. But meanwhile, the phone or the doorbell rings and you have to reshuffle your plans. All that planning ties you up in knots and distracts you from me. Attentiveness to me is not only for your quiet time, but for all your time. As you look to me, I show you what to do now and next. Vast quantities of time and energy are wasted in obsessive planning. When you let me direct your steps, you are free to enjoy me and to find out what I have prepared for you this day. Psalm 32:8. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, and I will counsel you and watch over you. Psalm 119:35. Direct me in the path of your commands, for there I find delight. Psalm 143:8. Let the morning light be word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. And show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul.